Okay, it's Roger, Mudfossil Universe. I got some news today that is going to upset a lot of people. It's very upsetting. Now, this is from Johns Hopkins, and I went there actually for genomics, but unrelated to that, this is about the brain-gut connection. And they have literally missed everything that controls your health. Literally missed everything. And you're going to see how I can make that statement and make it stick. Now, it says, what does your brain gut control? Now, it's the main role in controlling digestion from swallowing to the release of enzymes. Remember that word, enzymes, that break down food to the control of blood flow that helps with nutrient absorption and elimination. Now, enzymes, they break things down. Well, where do they come from? Okay, let's start with bacteria. You have bacteria riddled throughout your body. All through these membranes that are in your body have bacteria in them. And the bacteria is there to produce mucus, which is slime, which is a barrier between you and the rest of the world. So that mucous membrane protects the contents of cells and organs and muscle tissues and fibers of all natures. And if they are exposed to the other things that are in your body that are not supposed to be inside these cell membranes, you will become ill. Now, enzymes are created by bacteria, and they are not alive. They're complex cells, and they're produced by bacteria, which is supposed to be in your body, 11,000 different types right now. And if you don't have them, you will not create these enzymes. You don't create the enzymes. You don't create the products that are there to benefit you, mucus and transition metals. And these are the things, the transition metals break down, they don't break down molecules, but they carry molecules around in the body that are broken down by other enzymes. It's as simple as that. It's called carboxylation. They run around through your body, these metal complexes, and they attach to little bits and pieces of chemistry that is broken down by other enzymes into little bitty tiny pieces. And if you don't have the enzymes to do that, they can't lug around a 100-pound chunk of iron. They have to get it down to a size that is workable, and that's what enzymes do. So you got chemistry that breaks down the products. You got chemistry of the transition metals that say, okay, now that I got the products, I'll carry some of those around. And that happens by a very tiny little pH. And then you have to have the bacteria to create these enzymes to do this breaking down. That's just a fact. And they speed up chemical reactions without getting used up themselves. Once they do the job they were sent out to do, they just go back into solution into your body. They're there as a chemistry set, a literal chemistry set, to go out and harvest metals and to break down different products to get them into a size that you can use them. All right, this says it all right here. This boy went for an ear problem. It ended up being a gut disease. They say it's rare. No, it is not rare. Here's the deal. This 10-year-old kid from North Carolina, he had ear pains and bloody discharge and so forth. So he goes to doctors. He finally goes to Duke. And they take a look at it, and it was like swimmer's ear going crazy, Raynor said. He was really miserable. The boy was also being treated for the skin condition psoriasis, which I know also is caused by gut problems, and had skin lesions on his scalp and other parts of his body. He's the kind of kid that was reacting to everything, not glyphosate. He's like the people reacting, they say, oh, it's glyphosate. No, this kid had all these same things. When the boy arrived at Raynor Center, his ears were red and inflamed and were leaking pus, and his ear canals were narrowed from inflammation. He could not see his eardrums because the ear canals were so inflamed and damaged. Doctor put the boy under anesthesia, performed a biopsy. Result from the biopsy, a second skin biopsy, revealed he had a skin condition that can occur as a complication of Crohn's disease, another irritable bowel syndrome disease. It's all this stuff in the gut. It keeps going on. Doctors likely didn't suspect Crohn's disease in the child, being he did not have any stomach symptoms. Well, you don't have to exactly have the stomach symptoms to show these distresses. A gastroenterologist confirmed Crohn's disease diagnosis. The boy was given Inflamax, a medication used to treat Crohn's disease that blocks the protein and inflammation. Well, let me tell you something. That kid got this disease because he had originally gotten an antibiotic for something else. That's my take. And it killed the bacteria that was making the enzymes that did the job that causes all these kind of issues. Now, I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. That kid's gut was a problem, and there it is right here, gut disease. So I need you to speak up. I need you to be the advocate for this, because I will not be heard. Trust me. I'm so shut down. I know it sounds like I'm paranoid, but when you're shut down, then you can be paranoid because you're still shut down. So somebody's going to have to bring this up to their doctors and to everybody. Just blurt it out. Run out in the street. Say, what the hell is going on? Why are you people killing us? We need our guts fixed. All right. This is Harvard. All about the mucus. How it keeps us healthy. And then it goes on about what is mucus and depending upon their structure. And it coats and how it keeps things away. And I have contacted this woman, Professor Katrina Ryback, and haven't heard anything back, but let's find out. But all of these diseases, I am saying, are caused by a breakdown in the membranes that protect the tissues. That's my statement, and I'll show you why I can make that statement. All right, let's just start with autism. A recent paper found autistic-related social patterns can be reversed when one species of gut bacteria is present in the microbiome of mice. Well, mice, what about humans? So it's bacteria, trust me, it's bacteria and enzymes. Let's take another look at something else. Okay, I either have shown you or will show you the evidence that supports the statements I have been making that mucus and enzymes and bacteria are your health system. That is your health system, and you own that yourself. You don't have to go pay anybody for that. Now, but we need a database. We don't know what is healthy. I don't know if you're healthy. You don't know if I'm healthy. You look healthy. I look healthy, but maybe I'm sick. How would I know? We need to be able to count and the type in the feces, in the blood, in the saliva, in the gases of your breath. All these things should be able to be looked at. Now, the bacteria in each area and the tissue type of that area, where is it? That bacteria in my intestine, in my throat, in my ears, in my eyes, they're all going to be different, and they're all going to have a different tissue type. Like I said, there's 86 different types of non-Hodgkin's lymphomas, which means there's 86 different types of tissues. It's just as simple as that. And that's just lymphomas of the non-Hodgkin's variety. Now, let's just go what we need to correct this issue, because I'm going to show you it is an issue. There's no question whatsoever. This is a terrible issue, and there is a simple solution. We need to know the bacteria in each area and what type of tissue it is supposed to be working with, and what happens when it's not there, what invades it. We need to know the enzymes and the bacteria that create those enzymes, because those are the toolkits to go around and create everything else that needs to be done in your body. You have 11,000 bacteria right now, and probably a ton more they don't even know about. I just found 1,000 in the last month, so it's not like they got every one of them. Now, what else do we need? So we know the bacteria. We know the enzymes. What about the transition metals? Transition metals are the things that can carry these things around. You don't have transition metals, you can't carry things around. And if you have too many of them, that means you have a buildup. They're not being taken out of the system, because it happens both ways. Now, what do we need? We need simple tests. Maybe you can even do them at home. And I'm going to show you slip chip technology working with unmodified cell phones. Take a cell phone right out of your pocket, and maybe you can diagnose your own problems, tap into this national database, and then find out the trends. Where are you in relation to a healthy person out of 100,000 people? There's going to be a trend. It's just going to happen. The people that are healthy. And everybody else is going to say, oh, I got this problem. And the guys in the healthy in the middle say, no, I don't have a problem. And they're going to be up here on that curve. Now, you could not only have it national, you have it regional, you could have it ethnic, you could have it by age, you could have it by sex, you could have it. Every one of these things is now, it's in a database. That's what I did for a living. I was a software developer. This is absolutely required. I can't even believe it's not available. And I don't think it is. And they say, well, we don't have the technology to do these tests. They could have figured the technology out long ago, and I will show you how it's done. So let's delve deep into this, because this is a serious, serious, serious issue. And if you don't pick up on this, I don't know what to say. Then it's up to you to find your own way in life, because you're going to be sick if you don't understand your mucus and your membranes and your bacteria. How about this one? Here's a devastator, Guillain-Barré syndrome. They don't know what causes it. The sensations can quickly spread, eventually paralyzing your whole body. In most severe form, Guillain-Barré syndrome is a medical emergency. Most people with the condition must be hospitalized to receive treatment. There is no known cure for this disease, but several treatments can ease symptoms, reduce the duration of the illness. All right, this is all in your respiratory. Look, exact cause unknown, but it often preceded by an infectious illness such as respiratory infection or the stomach flu, and that's when they give you the antibiotics. Crohn's disease, chronic inflammation condition of the gastrointestinal tract. Crohn's most commonly affects the end of the small bowel, the ileum, and the beginning of the colon, but it may affect any part of the gastrointestinal tract from the mouth to the anus, because they all have different bacteria, and you can kill any one of them, and they can all have other things set up where they are supposed to be, and then you will lose that ability, and you're going to have all kinds of issues in your gut. Very, very distressing, Crohn's disease. And I actually had to have surgery because I had antibiotics. They never said a thing about it. Then I got a yeast infection. Then I got a very serious infection. And then I had to have surgery twice. I'm pissed off about this. They don't pay any attention to this. They have all this money. They're doing research. All they got to do is look at the bacteria, look at the different types of membranes, what they're made out of, what they sets up shop in them that is supposed to be there, and how to get it there and replace it when you have an issue. And we have to have a database. Very, very critical. Very upsetting. This just goes back a few months. Researchers find further evidence that schizophrenia is connected to our guts. I mean, how much... I don't know what else to say. It is your microbiome. Look, all research is now pointing to a link between the gut microbiome and an array of mental health disorders, including anxiety. I mean, every single thing. People are committing suicide from having such depression. And these things are caused, almost everything I'm finding now is caused by a connection to your gut. All right, here you go right here. Constipation and nausea, difficulty swallowing, nausea, constipation, all common symptoms of Parkinson's. Additionally, Parkinson's affect the nerves that line the digestive tract. They're being destroyed by invasion. All right, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma of the gastrointestinal tract. Gastrointestinal tract is the most commonly involved extranodal site of lymphomas. Everybody goes in to get their colons checked. All right, let's just start with a few outliers. How about fibromyalgia? Digestive problems such as abdominal pain, bloating, constipation, even irritable bowel syndrome. All products of bad bacteria. All right, let's just take melanomas. Skin cancer. Well, guess what? They both are formed within the melanocytes by the initial oxidation of amino acid tyrosine with the aid of the enzyme tyrosinase. The enzyme comes from bacteria. It doesn't just grow there by accident. All right, here's what I want you to do. Any disease you have, anything whatsoever, put it in, like psoriasis and digestive problems, psoriasis and irritable bowel syndrome. There's a strong link between psoriasis and inflammatory bowel disease. Also includes Crohn's, ulcerative colitis. Crohn's can affect any part of the stomach, intestines. Anyway, my point being here, and I mean it's celiac disease. Look, between IBD, celiac disease. Oh, I mean it's just every single macular degeneration. It's all related. It's all related. So no matter what they do with the end product, trying to give you whatever they do now, all of this chemotherapy, you stop the infection from sealing the gut because you're never going to get it under control. You may be able to repopulate it after you get real sick or keep it under control with all kinds of drugs, but the key here is to heal yourself. And there's a link between digestive disorders and every single one that I could find. Every single Lou Gehrig's disease. I mean, just to name one. Every kind of emotional disorder, postpartum disease. It's all emotional trauma. Schizophrenia. I mean, just anything you could think of. It's all related to digestive problems. Get that under control. The healthcare system will fix itself. We don't have to worry about any special healthcare system. It will be under control. Schizophrenia's surprising link to the gut. What's in your tummy might affect what's in your head, and 100% does. This is from February 2019. Decades researchers have tried in vain to answer the question, what causes schizophrenia? At the same time, we've developed a growing understanding of how intimately linked the bacteria in our gut is to our brain. It's to every bit of our health. It's the mucous membranes. Arthritis. About 20 to 30% of the people with RA, the rheumatoid arthritis, develop fibromyalgia, which also, again, is a digestive issue. Among fibros, many symptoms are abdominal pain, bloating, alternate constipation, diarrhea, sometimes called irritable bowel syndrome. Every single one of these issues is related to this. And they are going off track trying to find these crazy different solutions which they can't prove whatsoever, and causing all kinds of problem in the agricultural industry. They don't like this whatsoever. These people have been spraying with this stuff for 50 years. They're fine. And a few people are getting really ill. Well, let me tell you something. A lot of people are getting very ill, have never seen glyphosate in their life, except for Stephanie Seffen is saying that, oh, they're eating it from everywhere. It's just getting into them from eating it. Well, that may be. I don't know. But I'm going to tell you one thing right now. The digestive problems and the bacterial issues are the problems that are causing the mucous membranes to break down. And I believe it's antibiotics primarily. And all of these system flushes, like when you get a colonoscopy, they flush your system out of everything. And then you have problems. If you can't reestablish that bacteria right away, something else is going to set up shop. When it does, you got issues. All right, this is Harvard. They're finally getting into mucus. All right, this is just in 2018. They're talking about mucus. And so what is mucus? Mucus, protective substance excreted from multiple areas of the body. All right, called mucin. It keeps things from invading you. You have tissues that cannot get invaded. Cystic fibrosis. Every different type of thing. Lung cancer. Right? The candida yeast attack. When you get your natural bacteria is destroyed by antibiotics, or why, I don't know other things that do this. Antibiotics absolutely do. And then if you don't repopulate them, you get this virulence is tied to its ability to invade cells through hypha and biofilm formation, yada, yada, yada. Let me tell you, it's there invading from antibiotic use. And it goes on, the Futures article about mucus is just the tip of the iceberg. Both the lessons we can learn from mucus and its potential uses seem unlimited. Well, you got to get to the membranes. The membranes are the key. And in order to find out which membranes and what they do, you have to do biopsies. You have to get the tissues, and then you have to test the tissues. What are they? What is in the tissues of healthy people? What bacteria? And what are in the tissues of unhealthy people? What bacteria? And this will all fall into a database. And then you have to be able to do these analysis of what people have in them. And let me show you something. They think, oh, it's too expensive, they'll never be able to do these tests. No. There's a thing called a slip chip design. And they have these, they're not, it's just starting. They really haven't done much with this yet, but they're getting there. And these chips, they're little tiny films. They're like like the thing you use in like this here. It's like, this would be the slip, and that would go right over this this little box of boxes. And in every one of those little boxes, there's a reactant. These are little wells. And in each one of those is a reactant. There's like number 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A, 1B, 2B, 3B, you know, C's, D's. And they have numbers and letters assigned to them. And then you put reactants in there. And then when you put blood or urine or feces or whatever it is, and then you slip this over there, the reactants will create different colors, or it will do something that will be indicative of what is in each one of these cells. And if there's a certain color there or not a color or whatever it may be, you'll tell whether you have that particular bacteria or not, or you have that particular transition metal or not in your blood. And you may even be able to see pathogens like little bacteria and so forth in there, because the cell phone is absolutely amazing now. And I'm not just pie in the sky here, because Caltech is doing it right now with cell phones. The cell phones are taking pictures of these and they're running it through software, and it's telling you each one of these categories if it's a yes or a no. Now, I say that you could do this with bacteria and so forth, and you'd actually be able to see them in there with facial recognition software, because they all have their own looking little characteristics. And if you knew what you were looking for, and you said, is any of that stuff in there? And it looks around. Yeah, hey, look at this. I found one of those, and there's a couple of these, and there's 37 of those instead of 26 of these. You know, that type of thing. It's extremely possible to do this. You do this at home and just put it in your computer, go click, and you find out what you have. And then you could go to the database of the world. It's like, click, this is what I have. What does the database of the world say? Wow, I'm in trouble. I need some different type of bacteria, or my transition metals are low. You might have to take some supplements of this and that, whatever it is. But right now, it's all guesses. And the guesses are based on a mistaken premise. That it's some kind of gene, first of all, or it's this ubiquitous glyphosate, which I don't believe that's the case. There's so many people have not been ill from it, and some have been terribly ill. But I'm talking to people every day that are absolutely excruciatingly ill, have nothing to do with glyphosate. And this people from MIT is, oh, well, they must have got it in their breakfast cereal or something. No, absolutely not. The other people are eating breakfast cereal too, spraying glyphosate all day long, and still haven't got it. So explain that to me. All right, this is that slip chip design, the digital PCR on a slip chip. Now, there's no reason they can't do this. I know they say, oh, it's going to be expensive. Well, this goes back to 2011, 2010, as a matter of fact. Now, I don't see this being widely used yet now. So, and this could be done with an unmodified cell phone, just like that, and then put it in your PC, and you could tell you whether you're sick or not. I don't think that's a big deal. All right, this is simply infection strategies of enteric, which means your intestines, pathogenic E. coli. So you have all this stuff in your gut already, and if it can enter, then you got a problem. If it's kept away and you just poop it out, case is closed, no big deal. But when you have leaky gut syndrome, you are open to invasion of every different type. It's just a fact. Nothing you can do about it until you fix your gut. Now, this is from Holistic Primary Care. Sulfate, a common nutrient deficiency you're probably ignoring. This lady here, Dr. Stephanie Seneff, is wrong. She's just absolutely wrong. Sulfate deficiency, most common nutritional deficiency you never heard of, and she's claiming that it can cause all kinds of issues. Well, it's not the sulfate deficiency, it's the bacteria that's creating the sulfate not to be able to be used. You see this? Sulfotransferase. It's a family of phase 2 enzymes created by bacteria transferring a sulfate group from this 3-phosphoryl sulfate to the hydroxyl group of an acceptor. Hydroxyl group sits on the 12th carbon in the 18 carbon chain castor oil. And I think it might have something to do with how beneficial castor oil is. But anyway, all you have to do is look this up. It's frequently metabolizes the same substrates. Anyway, this is a big long thing about it, but I looked into it. And what it does is the sulfates have to be broken down with the enzymes. If you don't have the enzymes, I don't care what you do, you're not going to be able to use those sulfur molecules. All right, continuing on about this. This is sulfonation in cytoplasm. You got to get some things out of your body too and take things in. It says these enzymes, again made by bacteria, killed by antibiotics, play several important functional roles. Some play a key role: detoxification. Many toxic molecules are small and insoluble, so sulfotransferase transfer a sulfuryl group to these molecules and make them easier to eject out of the cell and ultimately out of the body. These are the kind of things that collect in your body. If you can't get them out of there, you're going to be unhealthy. And all these things are done by our friendly bacteria to create enzymes to do these jobs. Our bodies don't create the enzymes. It's the bacteria. And the bacteria are killed by the antibiotics. And if they're not repopulated correctly, and we don't even know how many there is and what they are, they found another 1,000 last month. They haven't even been looking for them. That makes 11,000 already of bacteria. There is so many jobs for these guys to do. I mean, you talk about full employment. There's probably who knows how many more. And every one of them is there for a purpose, not there just laying around here for no reason. Now, just to add a little support here, I contacted Dr. Pollock in his laboratory here. I think he's out in Washington State or something. Now, that's him, and we went back and forth. Didn't collaborate or anything, but I sent him my information, and he is the one that discovered easy water. And this easy water, I believe, well, I know from his research, is there's a membrane here which is a gel. And that gel is what they call hydrophobic. It does not want water to penetrate it. And then there's an exclusion zone, this EZ layer, which allows nothing whatsoever other than water. And water becomes a little bit different than we know it. It's not H2O anymore. It takes on a little different characteristic, but still hydrogens and oxygens. All right, there's no other particles allowed, excluded. All the other particles are pushed away. So not only is that exclusion zone, an electronic zone, I believe it's also a barrier to push away the pathogens. Now, so I got to get a hold of Dr. Pollock, and I explained to him my electron flood theory and how, because once you shine more light on there, it comes way out because it's absorbing electrons, just like the sonoluminescence. When the slow-mo guys did a firecracker underwater, look it up. It explodes like this, and when it comes back, it sonoluminesces into extreme explosion because it's gathering up all the electrons that collected in the easy water. Well, so actually easy air in this case, because the water surrounding it is the compression device because it won't allow any absorption backwards. Now, so anyway, I contacted him and we went back and forth a little bit, and then just to show you, he did comment that I'm not an idiot, I hope is what he meant. All right, he sent this back to me. I thought it was extremely nice. He was very nice, and he understood, I believe, what I was talking about. He said, thanks for your emails. I need some time and space to digest all you say. I sense a depth of wisdom and creativity. Best, Jerry. And I sent him my information about, light and all of this business. So he it was a little bit to digest, but I think he understood where I was going with it because it fits exactly into his research. All right, I just want to leave it at this. Nora O'Donnell, I'm sorry she had her appendix out. I saw her on TV. I watch her every morning, and she was on the news, and she said, "Oh, we got my appendix out." Well, sometimes you have to. I'm not saying that's not necessary, but sometimes they say right now, if you get and hit it quick with antibiotics, you need to have it removed. And if you don't have it removed, you are in much, much, much better condition going forward in your life, because that is the device that it captures all of the extra troops. So when you get invaded, they say, "Ooh, you got any extra guys?" "Oh yeah, I've got a whole bunch of them down in the appendix. We'll go get them." And sometimes it gets inflamed and gets overworked, maybe. Or maybe it's being invaded, and they treat it with antibiotics, and it kills it. So it's probably being invaded by something. But probably something was there that should have stopped the invaders, but didn't. So we need to work on the entire biome of the gut and get it correct, but we have to know what it is first, and that's where this database comes in. This is where this is the most critical thing that I've had to say all day here, and I know I've gone long on this, but it's just, I mean, maybe it's too long to spend on your health, but I don't think so. All right, Mudfossil University. I want to be involved in this research. I'd like to have everybody contact these people up at MIT. There's a couple of them that, I'll probably put a link somewhere if you people will do this. Now, I want somebody to say, yeah, I'll do it, and then I'll put the links. All right, so God bless you all, and thank you, and I hope you can be healthy. I'm not a doctor. I'm not telling you to do anything or not do anything. I'm telling you this is the research. It's up to you to go from there. And if we don't have a database, you have nowhere to go.